Is that thunder I hear?
No, I think it's rain.
It is raining. How's it raining in a garage?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cross and Kin Garage.
Tut tut, it looks like rain.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Randy.
And today, as you can probably tell by our umbrella, we're doing something that involves rain. Specifically, a recast it of the classic film musical, Singin' in the Rain.
Just with the qualifier, as with all of our recasts, we are not ever asking for Hollywood to remake this film.
No.
This is one of those films that, in our opinion, is perfect in its inception, with one exception. That whole dream sequence, yeah, okay.
But before we get started, I do need to say something very quickly. Today is Daddy's birthday!
Happy birthday to me!
Happy birthday, Dad! So everybody, wish Dad a happy birthday down in the comments below, and give the video a like just for Daddy's birthday.
Thank you
very much. All right, so Singin' in the Rain. We've talked about this musical a little bit before. Previously, it should be somewhere up above our heads. I think it'll be over here. In our top 10 film musicals. I'm not going to tell you where it was. You have to go watch the video to find out.
We highly recommend that you go and watch this classic film. Maybe even press pause now, go watch the movie, and then come back and see who we've recast in all of the iconic roles.
Now, as always, I would like to hear your own casts down in the comments. So again, hit that comment section, and after you wish Dad a happy birthday, tell us who you'd put in these roles. Today, the roles we are going to be casting are Don, Cosmo, Kathy, Lena, Roscoe, and Mr. Simpson. So let's get started. Do you want to go first since you're a birthday boy?
I certainly can. This is, again, one of those films we don't think ever needs to be recast. We're just having fun. And the roles were originally made by royalty in Hollywood. You're talking Donald O'Connor, you're talking Debbie Reynolds, you're talking Gene Kelly. And then there's an all-star supporting cast as well that comes right alongside of this incredible musical. It's one of the first musicals I ever experienced, and it, to this day, I've probably splashed around in front of the library at the University of Arkansas singing in the rain, just because I could. So, without further ado, we are going to let you know who our modern day cast would be if we, at Cross and Kin, were recasting Singin' in the Rain. For my
First
Dawn.
up is Dawn, originally played by Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly. You can't say enough about this man.
He directed this as well, didn't he?
I believe so. He had some kind of production credit in it. Absolutely incredible. Go and check out his filmography. Not all of them involve dance, but the vast majority of them do.
And he's also got a great voice.
And he has a very good voice.
Film singing, or the rain scene with a cold.
He did, and there's a whole lot of trivia associated with the original film as well that you should probably go and check out, especially involving Donald O'Connor and his 6-pack-a-day cigarette habit, and how he was able to make them laugh and then get carted off to the hospital afterwards.
And then come back and do it again.
But, without further ado, our cast for Singin' in the Rain. My Dawn, the Gene Kelly role, is becoming an iconic person in his own right. He, with the aid of Harry Connick Jr. and a couple of others, have brought crooners back into the to vogue, so to speak. My pick for Dawn, and I don't know if he can dance or not, so Mr. Bublé, if you would please let us see how you dance, is Michael Bublé. He was also the topic of a recent Tuesday's Musical Notes with his rendition of the song Feelin' Good. So check out Michael Bublé as, think about that. Can you hear it? I think you can. Michael Bublé Singin' in the Rain as Dawn.
I can hear his voice. I can definitely hear his voice. Okay, before I get started, I would like to say this. My Dawn and my Cosmo could very easily switch roles, but this way is the way I think I would want it, but bear in mind, I could very happily switch them out and still be good.
Fair enough.
But, okay, my Dawn is Skylar Aston. Probably most famous for the Pitch Perfect movies, but he is currently on CBS in a show called So Help Me Todd. We very much like it. It's very funny, and he is a highlight of that show. But he's also been in another show we liked a lot, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Very good show.
Very good show. And he was among a number of very good singers, but he also probably did the most dancing
right. I hadn't thought about
among the
that.
main cast.
Yeah.
Now, the secondary characters, they did a ton of dancing, but the main cast, he probably did the most, and he did it so well. He's the right age where even if he isn't the best dancer, he can be taught. He's still young enough to where teaching him to dance is not out of the realm of possibility.
Sure.
And I can just see him on the lampstand doing the iconic "I'm happy again" pose that got used in like all the marketing. Anytime Singin' in the Rain's
Sure.
talking about, that's the pose that gets tossed up. And I can just see him. I think he'd look good with like the slicked back Hollywood hair. I mean, this is set in the 20s, and I think Skylar Astin could 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I think Skylar Astin could pull off the 20s vibe. Moving right along, up next we have Cosmo, originally played by Donald O'Connor.
Donald O'Connor is one of these actors in Hollywood, especially during this golden age, that I don't think gets his due credit. He was most of the time a buddy. He was most of the time a supporting role. I rarely do you see him in a lead actor role, but he was so talented and so gifted. His comedic timing was incredible. I highly recommend. We said go and check out Gene Kelly's filmography. Do the same for Donald O'Connor as well. I think you would, especially if you get a rainy day and can find these films at your favorite streaming platforms. Do a deep dive on Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised at the films that you get to see and the massive amount of library that you get to see. In this film, Donald O'Connor plays Cosmo.
He is the piano player, like the backing orchestra for these silent films. The
More or less,
mood music.
That's it.
For
The mood
silent...
music for the silent films. You know that, that kind of thing. I think it was on a melodeon originally to begin with, and so he, in the beginning, is like Kristen said, he's the soundtrack to the silent pictures. That seems a little ironic.
Anyway.
Don't you think? But anyway, Cosmo winds up being this incredible advice giver for Dawn. He's a sidekick for Dawn, and he winds up directing the orchestration, writing the orchestration for the film that eventually comes at the end of the production. He is brilliant. Donald O'Connor is brilliant in this role. And I mentioned, dude, like everybody of his day, smoked like a chimney. Go and watch on YouTube. If you don't want to watch the whole film, go and watch Make 'em Laugh.
I'll link it down in the description. Donald
O'Connor is said to have had a 6-pack a day cigarette habit. Imagine the fact that his lungs were probably near bursting by the time he got done with this sequence between the singing and the dancing. It is one of Hollywood's most brilliant choreographed film sections. Please, go to YouTube. If you don't want to watch the whole film, go to YouTube and watch Donald O'Connor's Make 'em Laugh. But I digress.
Who is your Cosmo?
My Cosmo is Zac Efron. And I say that he could pull this off because it is a bit of a departure. I loved him in The Greatest Showman. And I think that is for me, that is his rise above the whole High School Musical stuff. Okay? Now, he danced in High School Musical as much as you can dance with a basketball in your hands.
He danced a lot in Greatest Showman.
And he danced a lot in Greatest Showman. Now, I think he could pull off the physical things. He's going to have to probably tone up his whole dancing thing. But I just think, I agree with Kristen. I think Zac and Bublé, they could both probably either one flip, but I really like this way. Let Mr. Bublé do the bulk of the singing and let Zac Efron do the bulk of the comedic and dancing sequences.
I think he could pull it off.
Zac Efron is mine.
I think he could pull it off.
He needs to make sure he does it soon because he's not getting younger.
All right. My Cosmo is somebody that y'all may not have heard of unless you were a Disney Channel fan in the mid 2010s or are a Broadway fan. My Cosmo is Ryan McCartan. He is probably most famous for, at least to my generation, for being on Liv and Maddie. But he is also, he's been Fiyero in Broadway's Wicked. And most recently, he was Prince Hans in Disney on Broadway's Frozen. So he's definitely got the singing chops down. And because he is a Broadway star, I feel like he would be able to take the dancing in stride. One of Fiero's songs is literally called Dancing Through Life. So if he can't pick up some choreography, then he was severely miscast. And he's younger than Skylar Astin, so he would definitely be young enough to pull off the part. He's very funny. He's got a YouTube channel. I might link it in the description down below if you want to check it out. He's got a very wicked wit, so I feel like he would be able to pull off the comedic timing, and I think he would play very well off of Skylar especially. So, yeah, Ryan McCartan. He is my Cosmo.
Moving on,
we have Kathy Selden, as played by the astonishingly amazing Debbie Reynolds, who passed away about 5 years ago now.
Within the last 5 years, yes. I've resisted the temptation to link this video to Star Wars Month, which is coming up in May, because of Debbie Reynolds' Star Wars link. Mm-hmm. You may or may not know that Carrie Fisher, the Princess Leia that we all know and love from all of the Star Wars films, was Debbie Reynolds' daughter. You probably knew that. If you didn't, you now have an aha moment only here at the Crossing King Garage.
People of my generation will probably also remember Debbie Reynolds from Disney Channel films Halloween Town. She played the grandmother in those films.
That's awesome. My generation knows her in the Tammy films and just about every other film. She's there. Again, check out Debbie Reynolds' filmography. It is vast as well. My Kathy Selden is Anna Kendrick. You know her from Pitch Perfect.
And Into the Woods.
And Into the Woods. And a lot of commercials too.
Yes.
She can sing. I don't know how well she dances. She moves some in Picture Perfect. But I think she would play extremely well off of Michael Bublé as a romantic lead. And I think she'd play well off of Zac Efron too, as far as the trinity
trio,
that
yeah.
sets up the film.
I think they'd do well with Good Morning.
Anna Kendrick, my Kathy.
All right, my Kathy is Haley Steinfeld. She also was in Pitch Perfect. I think it was the third one that she was in. But nowadays she is probably best known as Hawkeye. Haley has an amazing voice. She actually has a really, really good voice. And she's young enough that if she doesn't already know how to dance, she could very easily be taught. I know that she had to dance a little bit for Pitch Perfect, because that was part of the competition. You had to move. So I know that she could do at least a little. But yeah, Kathy's main role is to sing and be a voice. And Haley has a really nice voice, both singing and speaking. So
Very
I think
good.
she would be able to pull off the Kathy role perfectly.
Awesome.
Up next, we have Lena, originally played by Jean Hagen. Is Lena Lamont.
Lena Lamont is annoying.
The diva of Hollywood with a voice like olive oil.
Okay, thank you for that. Please don't do it again.
I won't.
I like our windows. Okay. She's
the stereotype of the Hollywood starlet.
she is annoying. She's just annoying, and the lady who plays her in the original just does a beautiful job of capturing a starlet who is on the way out.
I actually have a bit of trivia as far as she goes. The scenes where Kathy is supposedly dubbing Lena's voice are actually Jean Hagen's real speaking voice
I did
and
not
real
know that.
singing voice. The deeper tone with the "Our love will last till the stars run cold," and then the deeper singing voice, that's actually Jean Hagen.
That's
Debbie
awesome.
Reynolds did not dub her at all. she did her own stuff just because she had the two different voices happening. She was set.
A very versatile actress,
yes,
as you can tell.
The only time Debbie dubbed her was the Singing in the Rain bit, with the curtain reveal and all that
at
stuff.
the end. So
as far as I know.
Well, we have a couple of actresses that we feel like we could pull off the tension rod, if you will, for this film. Mine's Christina Aguilera. Now, other than her music, I honestly don't know a whole lot about her. Other than the whole hip shaky thing that she had going on several years ago that really brought her into prominence. I'm not a huge fan of Christina Aguilera. However, the bits and pieces I've seen, I think she could pull off annoying. That is not a comment on her. I don't know her. I'm just telling you from my perspective that I think she could pull off annoying. And I think she's talented enough that she could pull off the vocal manipulations that she would need to do for this film to have what it needs. And I think she'd play very, very well off of Anna Kendrick as well.
As the rival?
I think Christina Aguilera would do very, very nicely. And honestly, to see her in some of these classic gowns and some of the just the costuming that goes there, it's just rich in this film, and I think she would look absolutely spectacular, even though she's annoying in the film.
All right, my Lena. So the way I went about this is who would be the best cast, but also who would be the most ironic cast. And so I went with Lady Gaga. She's won an Oscar. She has an incredible voice. Some people don't realize how great of a voice
she really
Lady Gaga truly does have. Go look up her singing My Favorite Things. Or even the song she did for Top Gun Maverick, Hold My Hand.
Yes.
And then Shallows in Star Is Born. She has an incredible voice. And I think it would be funny to make her the person that can't sing and can't act and can't dance. When Lady Gaga can sing, can act, and can dance like nobody's business. Like, she is the real triple threat. And I think it would be hysterical having her in this role. I think she would play the villain very well. Because that's what Lena is.
Yes.
I think she would be playing intimidating Haley Steinfeld very, very well. And I can see her flirting with Skylar Astin and him being like, stop it, Lena.
That's a great casting.
So I think Lady Gaga would she would take it and run with it, and she would probably steal the film, and I think I'd be okay with it.
I think it'd be fine. Just please, no meat dress.
No meat dress. I mean, she would look amazing in the flapper gowns.
She would look amazing in the costuming at the time, too.
Stunning in the flapper gowns that
absolutely.
Lena has to wear.
Yep,
so
sure enough.
She would look stunning. All right, up next we have Roscoe, originally played by Douglas Fowley. I don't know much about this actor. The character of Roscoe is the director of the films that Dawn and Lena make. And bless his heart, he has to deal with Lena. He just seems so stressed out through the whole film. Just so stinking stressed out.
Yeah.
Just talking to the bush.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bless his heart.
My pick, Roscoe.
Yes.
Is Jack Black. I think he's over the top in anything he does. Peaches. Sorry. I think Jack Black would pull this role off. I think he would embrace this role.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would take it for the stereotype and the caricature that it is. And he might, just like Lady Gaga might steal it, Jack Black might steal the entire film, just in his portrayal of this incredible role.
We would have to write him a song, because we can't not have Jack Black sing at least a little bit.
In fact, he could possibly demonstrate one of the songs to Lena. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
All right, my Roscoe is, again, somebody you may not have heard of, but he is incredibly talented. He is a YouTuber who has recently started to break into voice acting. His name is Brian Hull, and he is so talented. I'm going to link both of his channels down in the description. His main channel, he is an impressionist. His secondary channel is him singing in his natural voice, and oh my goodness, I did not realize how good of a natural voice he has.
Some of his YouTube videos are absolutely hilarious. He'll go to Disney World and talk to the characters he's imitating.
Yeah, he'll talk to the
Mic drop.
characters in their voices.
Absolutely.
And some of those poor people in the costumes, because they're not allowed to speak.
They can't speak.
They're just like, dude!
But they can react.
Yeah,
and so
and
it's
they
absolutely
react
precious.
amazing. It's so good. But since he is breaking into acting, I think he'd be very good. Some of his videos, he did a video in 2020 just like praying for 2020 to end, and it is so over the top and so good and so stressed out. The minute we started looking at Singin' in the Rain, I'm like, I want Brian Hull to be my Roscoe. So yeah, Brian Hull.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
Jack Black's better, but that's a good pick. So, our last character.
Last up, we have Mr. Simpson, originally played by Millard Mitchell. He is the head of MGM, the fictional MGM in this film. This poor man.
He is the guy who's the budget. He's the bean counter. He's the one trying to make sure that everything comes into on schedule. He is and at this time when you're going from silent pictures to talkies, he is the man carrying all the stress. And the gentleman who played him, remind me please.
Millard Mitchell.
Millard Mitchell does a phenomenal role. I've seen him in a couple of other things. I can't recall what they are, but he plays this stereotype very, very well. But for me, J.K. Simmons.
That's a really good pick.
We are farmers.
Bum ba-dum bum 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 bum.
And he's J. Jonah Jameson from the Spider-Man films. All of the Spider-Man films. And I think he voices J. Jonah Jameson in the cartoons.
Yeah.
So, he is a prolific actor. And I think he could pull off this tight, uptight role very, very well.
I'm not sure how well J.K. Simmons would take to being talked down to by Christina Aguilera, though. That's the only thing.
That would be
absolutely
hysterical. Brilliant to see on film.
Quaking in his boots against Christina Aguilera.
Well, he'd embrace the role.
Yeah,
so,
he'd do it good.
be precious.
I've never seen J.K. Simmons in a bad role, so...
and she's annoying.
I think he'd be good. My Mr. Simpson is somebody from my childhood. I've picked Steve Burns. Steve from Blue's Clues will be my Mr. Simpson. He is one of those people that I think has gotten just passed over by Hollywood because he was Steve from Blue's Clues.
He might have to sit down in his thinking chair.
Anyway, I've seen him in interviews and other things outside of Blue's Clues, and he's a really cool guy, and I think he would be able to take this role and do really, really, really good things with it. I can absolutely see him being intimidated by Lady Gaga. I can see him just desperately trying to keep his company afloat, and I can absolutely see him going and then pulling the cord to do the Singin' in the Rain.
Don't give away too much of it.
If you've not seen Singin' in the Rain, just please go and educate yourself on musicals.
Yes.
But I can 100% see Steve Burns pulling this role off. I think he would be amazing.
Good casting. Yeah. So there you have it. That's our recast it of the iconic Hollywood musical Singin' in the Rain.
The jukebox musical. I think it's one of the first jukebox musicals ever. That's it. That is our recast it for Singin' in the Rain. Who would you guys pick? Did we do a good job?
Yeah.
Who do you like better?
It's my birthday, so you like mine better.
Or would you mix and match them up a little bit?
Well, for right now, though, I think we need to head to our shelter because I think I just heard the storm sirens going off. And as much as I like Singin' in the Rain, I don't like getting blown away in the rain.
That would be bad, yes.
That would be bad. So, for now, I'm Randy.
And I'm Kristen.
Thank you for joining us today in the Crossing Kid Garage. We hope you love our videos. If you do, please tell a friend. Tell them it's my birthday and you need to get this thing up into the stratosphere because it's Randy's 60th birthday.
Hit the little subscribe button. It should just be right down there. Also tap the little bell so you know every time we upload. Give us a like, give us a comment, or you can email us your ideas at crosskin6496 gmail.com.
That's the show for today. We're going to go play in the rain.
Bye!